Good morning. Welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 3rd of July. So looking at the euro dollar first, and from a bigger picture, I'll just flick out this very quickly. I'll talk about this in a weekly update later, but you see that we caught the weekly trend there at the moment. It's into the trend line on Friday, just pulled back a little bit, but just holding up at the highs at the moment. We do have a bit of a draw below us. We've got a weekly, monthly pivots below, may draw the price down towards those. It pushed up pretty strongly on Friday, put a hanging man at the top there as well. Possible retracement, as I said, back to that sort of weekly, monthly pivot sort of zone. Confirmation may come on the break of the Friday, those lows there on the Friday morning's lows. May give a bit more confirmation if that's what you want. Which would come in at around about 1392. Say it does look like it's got the potential, and that will certainly give us the lower high if that's the case. It'll also hit the S1. Maybe a big ask for the day. It's would be outside its S2, S3 area to get the monthly pivot as well, but the weekly pivot at the moment's got probably the slightly better draw in that respect. It is trading below the daily pivot at the moment. A break back above that, well, we could push up back into Friday's highs, which is around about equivalent with that R1. Okay, so pretty much euro erring on the potential bearish side there. Cable again put a hanging man, slightly different, a bit more of a bullish candle there, but it's still a hanging man, a hammer at the top there. Has again potential draw to the downside. We've got the weekly pivot sitting below us and the monthly pivot sitting below us. It's almost double top there with that move. So where to now? Well, we'll just see how it reacts this morning. Again, if it pushes up, there's a fractional gap, hardly anything at all on my chart here above which it might want to run into, which is, in other words, it may run up to those previous highs. If it starts breaking down, I can't put the trend line on there yet, but if it starts breaking down below here, we could be on for the S1. And as I said, maybe the weekly pivot if we get any sort of real downside movement there. Okay, that's cable. Let's have a look at the dollar yen. So dollar yen has been pushing up, running into last week a couple of trend lines I've got drawn on here. There's sort of a near-term one which it sort of had its reaction to, although it looks like it's trying to push back up to that one there. Sorry, it's more of a long-term one, beg your pardon. The near-term one's a bit further, a bit higher. Now it's already come down, caught the weekly pivot. There's certainly potential for that to continue its push up there. The monthly pivot's untouched below here. Any start of a sell-off there, well, that suddenly becomes a target at some point. But as I say, having a push up at the moment, maybe on the shorter term time frames, it's putting in some. I mean, it's a bit of divergence from the previous highs there, running through of sorts. Touch the daily, weekly below, so there's the possibilities. There's a couple of alternative entry, maybe break of the 8 if it starts selling off this morning, but certainly an towards the weakness side there on the dollar yen. Let's bring in the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, Friday, put a doji in, so another sort of weak candle there. Let's just check briefly the weeklies. Yep, again, weekly wise, there was a trend line. It has pitched into it before, but it's pitched back into that on Friday. Potential underneath below us, we've got the daily pivot, weekly pivot sitting below. So sorry, weekly, monthly below. It's already, if I remember rightly, below its daily pivot. There we go. So there's sort of two levels below. As I say, with the monthly pivots, they may just take a couple of days to get back down to if these markets are drawn back down towards them. Often get hit quite early. That's the reason I'm mentioning them. Okay. Choppy old market, you see from an hourly perspective last week, lots of tails either way, or wicks either way, whichever way you want to look at these. At the moment, well, there's potential reversal longish on there in terms of back into the previous lows there on Friday. We'll see how it runs out this morning. There is the potential it could start moving back up. It's been probably the most bullish of all the pairs against the US dollar more consistently through last month. Okay, it's the Aussie dollar and finally the Canadian dollar, which again is finding strength against in the main. Let's just check it wasn't anything that it's already broken those lows. Okay, so from daily perspective, your Canadian dollar continues selling. It's pretty oversold really at these levels on my inflection point indicator. There is a point potential they could want to retrace back towards the 821 sort of zone at some point. Fundamentally, I think it's a bit flawed what's going on here, but we'll see. It seems to break loose of its a relationship with crude oil at points and then come back into it. At the moment, it's well curling around a little bit here, maybe putting in a bit of a bottom here on the hourlies, 4 hourlies rather. There was some divergence running through that move, and so there is a possibility back for the weekly. It's a bit messy, just running into the hourly 50 at the moment, and that may again have its reaction. We'll see how it goes. But if that breaks, well, maybe there'll be a move later on this morning towards the weekly pivot. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Now, holidays this early part of the week. Today we've got Canadian bank holiday, it's Canada Day, and tomorrow we've got the Independence Day in the US. Now, that said, it's a holiday tomorrow in the US, but it could well there could well be people extending their weekends through into that. It's a normal factor when it's so close to a weekend. So, wouldn't be surprised if you see afternoon trading flatten out. This morning, well, the volumes are still running through the London markets, European markets. Shouldn't be any reason not to be trading this morning. Shouldn't be any reason not to be trading tomorrow morning either. As I said, it's the US market that's never open in the morning, which will be missing in the afternoon again tomorrow. So there we are. Other side of that, we've got manufacturing PMI key data coming out this morning in the UK at 9:30. I expect some volatility from that number. And then we've got the US ISM manufacturing data at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Whilst the markets may be quieter, with the lack of US volume coming through, the London markets will still be open for that, and we may see some volatility through that zone. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Just looking through, no other significant. We've got a couple of speakers. We've got a speaker at 6:30 actually, which may affect the pound. MPC member Haldane speaking at 6:30 there. So that's outside my normal trading zone, but may create some volatility. Okay, have a great day. Bye for now.